Hello, and welcome back to Brilliance Coaching, the podcast where high-performing women unlock their brilliance, lead with purpose, and create success on their own terms. I'm Julia Geber, your host, and I'm glad you are here. If you are someone who has ever felt stuck, uncertain, or just craving a fresh new perspective, you are exactly in the right place. Today's episode is inspired by so many of you who have asked about my growth mindset workshops. You have been wondering, is there a recording? Can I get the materials? So I thought, why not record a mini version for the podcast? Consider this your audio guide to understanding how to shift your own mindset and support others in doing the same. I would like to start with a quote. The brilliant physicist David Bohm once said, "Thought creates our world," and then says, "I didn't do it." It's such a striking reminder that the way we think, often unconsciously, creates the very experience we live in. And yet, we are often completely unaware that our beliefs are the ones setting the boundaries. We have very little awareness of what is really going on in our lives, how our limitations and opportunities are created by the power of our own thinking. Whether you believe you can do something or you believe you cannot, you are right. You might have heard this quote from Henry Ford, and it captures something so simple yet so powerful. Your mindset shapes your reality. But here is where the magic begins. Whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you are right. These are two statements. But the transformation doesn't come from just knowing which one you are in, if you are can or can't. It happens to learn how to shift, to move from the place of I can't, of self-doubt and stuckness, into a space where I can, where ideas flow, confidence builds, and new possibilities open up. That's the real magical step. That's the key. That's what we are going to explore here today. And it happens more often than we can imagine, but we often forget that it actually happened because thought says it didn't do it. It happens in some sort of magical ways. And I have seen it in my own life several times. Today, it is hard for me to believe that once I had serious doubts that I will ever be able to become fluent speaking English. It seemed completely out of reach at some point. Similarly, becoming a coach after building an entire career in finance, that seemed highly unlikely and quite ridiculous. And even just more recently, I wouldn't have believed that I will be happy riding roller coasters. And today, I'm actually quite happy to do that. But once it was totally off the cards for me. So, time and time again, what once I felt impossible slowly became my reality, and now these things are just part of my life. I take them pretty much for granted. I can't even see how it could have been different in the past. So, let me ask you, how about yourself? Have you ever had something in your life that felt so out of reach until one day it just wasn't and it became normal? Can you think of a moment when something shifted? That shift is what we are diving into today. What really helps us to move from stuckness to momentum, from fixed to growth mindset, from fear to possibility. Let's talk about getting unstuck. We all have been there. That frustrating feeling when nothing seems to move forward. It might show up in work, parenting, navigating a relationship. The truth is, we all have both fixed and growth mindsets. Even those of us who coach others on mindsets still get triggered. And actually, it's a good thing because we can have real empathy for that humanness within us. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It is to be aware of, accept it, and work with it. Let's break it down quickly. A growth mindset is rooted in the belief that skills can be developed through effort, feedback, and practice. A fixed mindset tends to believe that your abilities are set. You either got it or you don't. Sometimes people tend to think about the growth mindset as something somebody either has or doesn't. Well, that's exactly how a fixed mindset thinker would think about growth mindset. In the spirit of the growth mindset is something that you can develop through effort, feedback, practice, and listening to podcasts like this, and actually putting the things that you listen to into practice. And here is the thing, we all switch between the two. You might have a growth mindset when you are, let's say, learning a new tool, but totally spiral into fixed mindset when your child says something that hits your nerve. Sounds familiar? So, how to recognize and shift your own mindset? Getting stuck in a fixed mindset happens. But here is the good news. Every moment is an opportunity to shift, an opportunity to practice, and an opportunity to get better at it. Here is a simple, step-by-step approach to help you recognize when you are in a fixed mindset and gently guide yourself into something more empowering. Step 1. Notice it. Our emotions often give away that we are stuck and we are in the fixed mindset. We might feel angry, upset, sad. And this awareness is the first step. Just pause and name what's happening, what's coming up for you. Say to yourself, this feels like my fixed mindset talking. Don't judge it. Just notice that it's happening. Step 2. Sit with it. Instead of jumping into reaction mode, try sitting with the discomfort for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out, let it be there. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is not rush to fix it, but accept it and see it for what it is. Find out what is really going on there with a curious mind. Step 3. Step away. Give yourself a reset. That might mean going for a short walk, journaling, meditating, or it could be movement or dance, listening to music, doing something else, something creative that opens up the room for new perspective. Step 4. Practice compassion. It's easy to get frustrated with ourselves for feeling stuck, but that's just part of being human. Be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself like you would to a friend. Just know you're doing your best, and that's okay. And step 5, reach out. Sometimes we need someone else's lens to help us see clearly. Whether that's a coach, a mentor, a trusted friend, a little support can go a long way in helping you reconnect with what's possible. So we talked about how to spot a fixed mindset situation and shift it in the moment. But what about the long-term game? What could you do in the long run? Here are 5 simple but powerful foundations that support a thriving growth mindset so the bumps are smaller and your recovery is quicker. Step number 1. Create space for support and empathy. You don't have to figure it out all alone. Surround yourself with people who get you, those who hold space, listen with kindness, and remind you who you are when you forget. Ask yourself, who can I talk when I need a soft place to land? Build that support system intentionally for yourself. Having a regular listening partner, a coach, a mentor can make all the difference. Step 2. Prioritize connection and togetherness. Growth thrives in communities. Whether it's a message thread, a coaching group, a quick coffee with someone who gets it, staying connected keeps you grounded. You are not the only one navigating uncertainty. And remembering that can lighten the emotional load more than you realize. Step 3. Move your body, shift your energy. Mindset doesn't live in your head alone. It lives in your whole system. Don't overthink. Move, walk, stretch, dance, get fresh air, and make this into a regular routine. These small practices aren't luxuries. They are tools to reset your nervous system so you can respond with more calm and clarity and help you see new perspectives. Step 4. Make imperfect actions as your default. You don't need to feel confident before you act. You just need to start. Tiny, imperfect steps build momentum, and momentum builds confidence. If something feels big, break it down. What is that one small move you can make today towards your objectives? Step 5. Reconnect with your purpose regularly. Your why is your anchor. It keeps you going when things feel hard or messy. Set time aside, weekly, monthly, or even daily, to reflect on what matters to you most. I think of mothers who really know why. Children can be extremely challenging, but still they keep on going and they're giving it their best because they have so much clarity why this matters to them. So these practices don't just help you stay in the growth mindset, they build a capacity for it. Think of them like your emotional and mental fitness routine. The more you do them, the more resilient you become, and the easier it is to return to your center when life throws something unexpected your way. So, now that we talked about the way how you can shift your mindset, let's move over and talk about how to help others shift. So, what if someone else is clearly stuck in a fixed mindset? Here's a big one. Telling them that they have a fixed mindset and they need to shift it doesn't work. Not at all. Maybe it could catch you something thrown at you, but highly unlikely that it's going to move people to the way you want them to move towards the growth mindset. Let me tell you a quick story. Back in my finance days, I made a mistake with the numbers and I felt like a total failure. I was really quite worried to even admit it to my manager. But when I mentioned it to him, he said something really unexpected. Oh, don't worry about it. I have made mistakes 10 times bigger as this one. That moment changed everything for me. I felt human again, safe, supported, and from that place I was able to correct the mistake, learn, grow, and get much better at what I was doing, and more importantly, become more empathetic and understanding, both with myself and others. Really enabled me to actually wanting to go on that journey rather than feeling frozen and unable to move forward, full of guilt and shame. That's the power of when someone holds space for your humanity, your brilliance can come through again and you can move forward. I know it's not easy, and it's actually very hard to remember in the moment what to do to help somebody to move from the fixed to the growth mindset. So I developed a quick reminder for myself, an acronym, which is called ECHO. In the ECHO, the E in the ECHO starts for empathy. This is a really important step to acknowledge the other person's experience. C stands for curiosity, asking open-ended questions for better understanding of what is really going on. H stands for help, offer support from the heart. And O is for outcome, shift from the problem to what really matters, what the other person would really love to do, love to have. Let's just delve into a little bit more detail, one by one. So, first, empathy. Empathy is where all meaningful change begins. When someone is struggling, our instinct is often to jump in with the solution and fix them. But telling someone just being negative, you need to change your mindset, rarely helps. It actually shuts the communication down and there is less chance for the change. Instead, empathy sounds like, that sounds really tough. I hear how frustrated you are. Would you tell me more? I would really love to hear more. These phrases create safety and connection. They say, I see you, I'm here with you. And that in itself creates the condition for a shift. Many of my clients mention how huge this is for them, how it turns around relationships, and how it gets significantly better outcomes for them, even if you just use this one single shift. C, curiosity, is another really powerful step. When we lead with curiosity, we invite expansion instead of resistance. You can try asking, what have you tried so far? What other options are out there? What would make it easier for you? How could we make it work? You are not assuming, you are exploring with them. It opens up space to think differently. Curiosity, true curiosity, helps people feel resourceful and not judged. It says, I believe there is a way through this, and I believe in you. So let's move over to help. Offering help from a fixed mindset might sound like unsolicited advice or comparing experiences. Doesn't sound very supportive. But from a growth mindset, help is collaborative and consent-based. Try asking, what support would be helpful right now? Would it help if I shared something that worked for me in the past? The magic phrase here is, may I share? Because it gives the other person choice. Help, when offered with respect and humility, builds trust and momentum. So let's move over to O for outcome. It's easy to get stuck in what's wrong. Our survivor brain is programmed to find the gaps, the dangers, and what can possibly go wrong, and what's not working, especially when emotions are high. But instead of saying, you just need to get over it, shift to outcome-oriented questions like, what's most important right now? What would be the best outcome given the circumstances? What would you love to have if you could have anything in the world? How would it look like if it was on your terms? These questions invite focus, clarity, and a sense of possibility. They help move the conversation from spinning into the problem to gently moving toward the solution at a pace that feels safe and doable. So, next time someone comes to you with a challenge, use your empathy, your curious questions, open help from your heart, focus on what really matters. Even one of these steps can change the tone of the conversation and can deliver completely different results. Living with a growth mindset doesn't mean you are endlessly positive or immune to challenges. It means you are open to learning, reflecting, and choosing to learn, to grow. And here is the truth. Your mindset doesn't stay neatly inside your head. It echoes into your conversations, your relationships, your team, your family. The energy you bring creates a ripple. And the more growth mindset moments you embody, the more of them you start to see around you. So if you don't like what you are hearing around you, whether it's negativity, blame, or stuckness, remember this. You have the power to be the one who turns it around. Let your mindset echo differently. Use the echo model to shift the energy in the room, starting with yourself. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You just need that one small moment of choice, coming from your heart with empathy, curiosity, to turn limitations into possibility. Be the person who listens with empathy, asks with curiosity, supports with heart, and steers things towards outcomes that truly matter. Use all these 4 steps, and your mindset will echo far and wide. Your mindset isn't fixed, and neither is your path. Shifting how you think, respond, and relate can change everything in your life. And if you need support, I'm here for you. If you are ready to shift your mindset, reconnect with your brilliance, and move forward, check out my website and get in touch. The link is in the show notes. You will also find a free growth mindset guide on my website you can download for yourself or share with someone who needs it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, keep leading with purpose, owning your brilliance. Thank you.